Hello and welcome to Running Behind. I'm Joey Metzger, your host and head honcho of SLO. In the upper Midwest here, we like to curl. Now, you may only watch every 4 years at the Olympics, but for some of us, it's much more than that. My guest today, Chris Swenke, was an avid curler back in the day. In fact, he took up running to help with his cardio during sweeping at curling matches. Well, it didn't take long for him to decide that running was what really brought him joy. So much so that he went on to complete marathons, ultramarathons, and other crazy running adventures, even running across the state of Minnesota. And eventually, he founded the St Croix Running Company and began putting on his own events in the Minnesota and Wisconsin area. In this conversation, we get to know Chris, not just the race director, but the person who fell in love with running and how he balances all of that with a life, family, and career. And we check in with him after his experience at the 2026 Fans Ultra event and how his training for the iconic Minnesota Superior 100 race is going. So grab your shoes and just some plain old Hanes socks from Target and head out for your run because it's time to hit the trail. Oh, man. Hi, Chris Swenke. How the hell are you?
I've never done one of these, so I don't know what to do. So just guide me along.
Hey,
hold my hand.
I've done like 33 of these. I don't know what to do. So sometimes we just go. We just talk.
Okay.
I didn't send you an agenda. I didn't send you notes. I didn't send you anything. I told you we're just going to chat. I just want to get to know you. I mean, I talked to you for 10 minutes at Fans Ultra 20. I always want to say OnlyFans, and everybody goes, what is it? OnlyFans?
That's a hell of a walk on it.
Yeah. I know. It's a whole different race, guys. Lots of different costumes for that. No, Chris, these are all just super casual. Did you have a chance to listen to any episodes? Probably not. It's not required.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm a podcast guy, but I'm like on the I don't know, the upper level. I listen to a lot of geeky science stuff.
Got it.
Like quantum physics and weird things like that.
Ooh.
So I find myself off in that world because I drive about an hour for work every day. So I find myself.
Okay. We'll talk geeky stuff. By the way, for my audience, we're starting, guys. My audience knows this. I just start right in the middle of this shit, and we just, that's what we did in theater. You walked right in the middle of a scene. You didn't start with go. You just started in the middle of a conversation. But my guest tonight is Chris Swenke. Chris is, I always want to say Minnesota. You're a Wisconsin trail runner, technically.
Yeah.
Well, technically.
I've lived here for 21 years now or so. Wisconsin.
Yeah. Is it Hudson? You live near Hudson?
I live in Hudson, yeah.
Lives in Hudson, Wisconsin. Cross the river from Minnesota. Good folk over there. We like them. Yep. Chris is also the race director for St Croix Running Company. Chris, I don't know if you can see my shirt.
There you go. One of those.
I got my St. Croix running shirt on. Got to promote the brand and all that. And we're going to chat tonight about. Here's what I want to talk about, Chris. I want to get to know you. I want to understand how you started running, trail running. I want to understand how you started the St. Croix Running Company. Because I did. I tried to do a little bit of research. It literally was like at 3:00. I got to look some shit up, but. I looked up your races, so I kind of want to talk through how you grew those because you're up to I think five or six races now.
Yeah, I've done up to 5. I'm down to 4 again. So.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, and then I want to talk about your personal running journey. We were both folks at Fans Ultra 24-hour event. I titled, and I'm going to ask you what you titled. I don't know if you do Strava or not, but mine was titled Heat, Humidity, and Humbled because I got my butt kicked.
You're about right. I would have named it the same.
My butt kicked. You did better than me. We'll talk about what your goals were, and we're going to talk about the race you're training for. And all kinds of stuff. I even looked you up like on LinkedIn, so I've got some actual professional Chris Swenke questions. Chris the designer. We'll get to that. Here's how I like to start these, Chris. I like to ask my guests. I like to throw them off and say, "Give me one word, Chris, that describes you as a runner." First word you think of. Go with your gut.
Slow. Slow.
Yeah, how have I not gotten that one yet? But that's great. That's probably my word too.
Yeah.
Now, one word, Chris, the person.
I listen. I'm a good listener. That's 2 words, but it's
That's fine. No, there's no rules. We're making this crap up. Good listener. I like it.
My nature is I'm a designer. So my nature is to sit back and listen and to figure out the problem. And so I find myself I can be a wallflower at times, and then times I can be very outgoing. So I lean toward the quiet listening.
I have in my notes later on in the discussion when we talk about St. Croix Running Company and your professional career, I see how those interact and how you design these things, and I kind of want to talk about how that interacts between your professional hat and your race director hat. The other thing I sometimes ask my guests is, why? Why did you say yes to me when I reached out? Why did you say yes, I'll be on the podcast? What were you thinking?
To my initial take, I've never done a podcast, never been on this side of it. So it was like I always try to put myself out there for something new, and obviously you've been a big proponent of my races, and it's always great to see you out there. And I thought, why not? What do I got to lose? And stuff. So it's always nice to get to know somebody, get to know you a little bit better outside of the time we cross each other on the course or at races.
The 5 minutes when I'm the last person coming in and you're waiting to tear down the event.
Hurry up, get across.
Come on, Joey, finish, yay. You haven't listened to the pod, but we talk about your events all the time. Mario and Eric and I, and Eric Walker, who was out there at Fans, pacing me a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's done your event. In fact, we'll talk about him. He's still in top 10 for best time at the Trout Brook race. Okay, so, cool. But yeah, your events are great, Chris. So I've done, what have I done? 3 of them. At some point, I'm going to do all. Oh, we're down to 4. We'll talk about that. Okay. But you put on great events. We'll get to those. Let's start with you, though. Mm-hmm. How were you, like, I always tell the story as a youth, and maybe this resonates with you. I know I had Jameson Swift on. That's the other thing. I interviewed Jameson. I interviewed Bill and Mandy Hansel, if you know Bill and Mandy. Yep. I guess to fulfill my dance card, I got to reach out to John Storkamp. I did actually send him an email once. I think I made a video. And he was like, yeah, I posted it. And I replied back, I'm like, cool. Hey, if you ever want to be on the podcast. And that was the last I ever heard from him, Chris. So
sounds good. Well, he'll do that. I mean, I can't speak for him, obviously, but he'll just reach out to him face to face. I would think he would do it.
Yeah. He's everything I know about him and everything I hear about him is he's a fantastic guy. Really we absolutely love him around here. But kind of funny. So you are the next local Midwest race director that I absolutely had to have on. Want to get to know you. But like I was saying, as a kid, Chris, I didn't run at all. I didn't do sports. I came from a family of 6 kids. I'm the youngest. I'm the only boy, 5 older sisters. So I had 6 mothers. So there all you need to know about me. Gotcha. I had 6 mothers, and we were not into sports, anything like that. I got into physics and the chess team, and then I got into theater and band and speech and debate, and that's what I did. I did one in high school, my junior year. Somebody convinced me to join the track team, ironically enough, and I was like, I had some friends. They were like, okay, cool, I want to hang out with my friends. So they said, you're running for track, great. And I'm I'm fast. I'm going to do the 100-meter dash. No. No. The coach took one look at me and said, no, where does nobody want to do the 2-mile race, the 3,200-meter race, as it was called back in 1985. Yep. And so that's what I did, Chris. The 3,200-meter race, I came in last almost every time. There was one time when like 3 of the 5 schools canceled, and I came in third. Okay. I came in third, but I was also third from last.
I was going to say
there was only 6 people in the race, or 5 people in the race. So it was pretty funny. So that's my athletic history. I wasn't. Now as an adult, I mean, not that I'm no, fancy runner. I'm no Nick or Jeff doing 127 miles at Fans, but I'm way more athletic as an adult. How about you? What did you do as a youth? Let's start there.
When I was a high school-ish or whatever, I grew up in a small town down by Rochester, Minnesota, and when you're at that small school, we had 88 kids who graduated from my grade. So you basically, if you were a druggie or you were an athlete, there was really no in between. I didn't want to be. I wasn't really a druggie, so I just hung out with the athletes. Wasn't that good? Wasn't any good, to be honest. Took care of the bench, made sure that was warm for everybody. Got into, because it was such a small school, everybody got to play. There was no cuts, there was none of that stuff. So I went off for did the football, did the little bit of wrestling, but again, no coordination, never started in my life. Played basketball because all the my buddies were playing. I figured I wanted to get in shape, do a little bit of, and running wasn't even a thing for me. I was just going to run around. Yeah. Get in shape with those guys, hang out with those guys. So it was more of the camaraderie that appealed to me. And then I was decent at golf, but I didn't really consider that a sport. It was more just we lived across the street from a golf course, and it was easy enough to get there after school and golf and so on. And then you got another patch on your Letterman's jacket. So nothing really exciting about that as far as those things. I hated the running that I had to do during basketball. I remember our coaches putting down puke buckets instead of basketballs, and for a week of practice saying, "What are you going to need the basketballs for?" And then just the constant running up and down the floors, and never had to use the bucket, but I know other people did. So you just grew to hate it. It was a punishment. Yeah, punishment. And instead of a reward, like I feel it is now. So, and then most of my life into probably my 30s, I didn't really do much. Maybe lifted some weights here and there, but nothing serious. Then I got into curling, of all things. Hey,
let's talk curling. Go, yeah.
So I started curling. Yeah, and I got pretty good at it, and I lived on Ashland Avenue down from the Twin Cities Curling Club, and I would go there, anytime I didn't have kids at the time, so I would go there whenever I could. I'd go there Friday nights, I'd jump into teams and play, and I knew that I wanted to get in better shape because I was doing a lot of sweeping, and if you play curling, your heart rate just goes boom, through the roof, and I thought, I got to start doing a little running, get in shape. So I started running during my lunch hours at work. I made it a half a mile, made it a mile. Next thing you know, I'm running 4 or 5 miles. And what is this odd thing? And then running took over curling, and curling went away. And
wow, so it replaced it. So you do the running to support the curling, and eventually you're like, I don't need the curling. This is better.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's funny.
So I still love curling. I still watching it. Still appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. I just never wanted to go back to it, so.
I joined a curling league 3 years ago. Just my buddy, they needed somebody. They did it like back before COVID, and then somebody quit and whatever, and they needed somebody, so they reached out to me, and about 3 years ago. And so I actually really kind of like it. I like it. I'm horrible. I'm so horrible. I don't practice. I don't play enough. The other 3 guys, they're pretty good. We just go there to have fun. And, it's kind of like golf. Any sport where you can have a beer in the middle of it. I mean, it's not really a sport, but I do track my heart rate when I'm sweeping. It gets up over 150 for sure sometimes. And
they say in the Olympics, it's the highest increase, or fastest increase of your heart rate of any sport of all the Olympics. It just goes, it's just that. That's what got me into running.
So that gets you into running. And you're an adult at this point, right? You're not a teenager anymore. And then are you running on the sidewalks, or when do you start going trail running's kind of cool? Because everybody seems like they've got this, they always start on the road, and then we kind of go, that hiking path I go on, I could actually just do a little jogging out there, and it's nice scenery. How does that happen for you?
Some buddies that I ran roads with took me out to Afton one day, and I'd heard about it, but I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know what trail. I didn't know what it was as a community. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know what any of it was about. I didn't know there was ultras. I didn't know. So next thing you know, we're bombing down these trails and watching out for roots, and we're running slower. We're talking. We're hanging out. We're doing 16 miles later. I've run the whole Afton loop, and I thought there's something to this, and I kind of went back and forth, and then I had heard about the Afton 50K, and then I was like, I'll try that. I'd run a few marathons before that.
Okay.
And I thought I'm going to give that a shot, and really never looked back as far as trails go, outside of doing these dumb things like fans last week, beating up on the concrete for,
which is not
but you know what I'm saying? You beat yourself up on that tar for so long. You're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I know. It was me and Mario and Eric did the 6 hour, and he had a workout plan where he had to get in, 7 or 8 miles. And he got done with his 4 laps, whatever it was. He's like, I'm done. I'm crewing. What do you guys need? Ice? Need me to go get some pop? What do you need? I'm done. He just hates it. And normally I don't mind it, but we'll talk about that later. So if Afton 50K, and I pulled up your ultra sign up. I'm looking on here. It looks like your first race.
There's nothing good there.
You're doing better than me, dude. I'm like, what's below? I mean, like, I'm like the lowest percentage you can get because I always come in towards the end. Afton 50K 2010. That's your first 50K. You just jump right from Marathon 50K, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And then you do Surf the Murph 50 miler. Yeah. Is that 3 laps around that thing?
I think so.
Do you what do you think? What do you think of Surf the Murph?
I love the 50-mile distance. I think it's Surf the Murph's. It's fondest in my heart because it was my first, what I consider the first ultra. I mean, 31 mile of 50K is fine, and that's technically. But when you say 50, it just feels like it means a little more than just a couple miles over. That's just me, audience of one. But so it's got a fondness in my heart there. I think for me it's a great distance that you have to train for and you have to work for, but you don't have to throw your life at, like a 100-miler. You can run it in most people can run it in a day, 10 to 12, 13 hours or whatever, and they can go home and be human. Stuff. But
So I'm looking at your first handful. It's all 50Ks and 50 milers. You did a lot of races those first couple years.
Yeah, just kind of went after anything local around here.
Yeah, you were at Afton, Zumbro 50 miler, Surf the Murph, Afton, Chippewa Trail Races 50K. What's Chippewa Trail Races like? Where's that one at again? I know everybody does it.
It's kind of over by. It's just kind of. It feels like it's in the middle of the state of Wisconsin. It's probably an hour and a half away from Hudson. It's. I think they do a.
Is that by Eau Claire?
It's kind of by Chippewa Falls, but then a little bit north.
Okay.
So probably in that area. Yeah. So a little bit north. It's by Ashby or something. It's like, I forget the name of the town.
It's on the Ice Age Trail, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
I've been up there and volunteered a few times. I've been up there and raced, and Jeff puts on a 6K, a 12K, the 50K. I forget all the distances, but he fills the day up with a lot of different races in there. It's it's single track from the get go. You start out and boom, you're right downhill, and then you're on the single track the whole way. It's a beautiful course. You cross lakes. You cross. Jeff does a great job putting on that race, and all his races. But I really like that one as well. So there's a little more drive to get to it, but for that first spring race, if you don't do Zumbro, that's the probably one to get to.
Is that in April?
It is. I think it's a week or two after Zumbro. So
yeah, I do like Zumbro. I went there not this year, last year for the 34 mile, and only got through 17 miles. Chris, it was my first DNF. My knee literally exploded. All the blood vessels blew up coming down that hill to that last aid station. Because I got kneecaps that I guess they don't track well, is what I'm told. So now I wear knee braces all the time just because I don't want my knees to explode. But I mean, it's beautiful. I certainly couldn't do 6 laps around that thing to get to 100 miles. But you did.
I've done it twice. I tried 2013. I DNF'd.
Okay, let's talk about that, because you know how John is. He doesn't put DNFs on ultra sign-up, so I have no idea when you didn't make it. I see you made it in 2016. Let's talk about 2013. So this is like your third year of doing ultras. You have your heart set on 100 miles, or you just really want to do Zumbro, or what were you thinking?
I just had a few people that I had looked up to, around here, and I'd watched them and learned what's the next thing, and so I think it's like all of us do. We're like, what's that next step up? And I followed a few people, ran with a few people around here, and they kept throwing that word out about 100-miler. I don't know if anybody's mentioned Helen Levine. She used to live around here. She used to put on Tuscobia until today. I guess she changed it. They passed it on. But and she was a rock star, or probably still is a rock star, but was going all over the country and winning these races and challenging a lot of the men up at Superior. And I ran with her a couple times. And I say ran with her. She ran with me. She slowed down a lot.
She slowed down for you.
Yeah, she slowed down for me. And it's I get head full of these 100 miles, and I thought, well, I'm going to try this Zumbro thing. And so I gave that a swing, and I think I ran out of time mathematically. I got around my third lap or whatever it was, and I started doing the math. And it takes 6 hours to walk that thing. If you're slow, I'm like, I'm not making this. The math is not mathing. So I said, no, pulled the plug on that one. I was pretty disappointed. It took a year, and back then my ego was really tied up in running.
Yeah.
So you kind of measured yourself, all that stuff. And then I grew. I think hopefully I've grown out of that a little better.
Had you trained, Chris, for the 2013 one? Had you changed your training and did a training plan? Or did you just go, nah, I'm good? Or what did you do to prepare for it?
I trained for it as much as because I don't think there was a lot of stuff. I mean, there was stuff out there, but not anything I knew. There was plans. There was
not as much back then.
You could put pieces together. There's a few books on it. I think I thought I had trained. You think anything else? You think you trained well, just didn't, and didn't get there. Didn't have the speed. Didn't have the knowledge. Didn't know anything about nutrition. Didn't know anything about pacing myself. Didn't know anything. Any of that stuff, and didn't know anything about anything. But I thought I'd just jump into this and figure it out. And so I did, and then 16 rolls around, and I'm like, I got to give this another swing. I got to get this monkey off my back, and I had a lot more support, knew a lot more people in there. Went down there and finished it finally. And it's one of those races, at least for me. I got down like never again. I don't want to step foot on this course ever again.
Really?
Well,
I'm looking at your.
Then I remember like, no way, I'm not.
You've never been back there since then, huh?
I've paced on there. I paced Doug Kleemeyer. It's a good friend of mine. I've paced him a few times. I've paced him when he's won it. So the only time I can pace him is when he's 50, 60 miles into a race. He's walking, But but I've been lucky enough to be on that side of it. Down there as well. So, but every spring I kind of get that itch. Should I try it again?
Yeah.
I talk myself out of it. I'm like, don't.
Well, it's one of John's races that doesn't sell out because I think people are always afraid of the snow and it's early April and it's tough, and so it's like it's tempting for us out there. We're like, I could just sign up for that last minute. Mm-hmm. But then you think, it is a tough. Like I said, I only did one lap. Sand coulee. Oh my God. Jason Reeve and I were talking about the sand coulee. That's kind of a nightmare. You think that's the easiest part. It's just a grinder.
It just takes so much energy out of you. Every step is drags you.
And I don't know what 3/4 of the way through, and I don't know the names of the hills. The one where you come down, it's really technical. It's all these rocks.
Yep.
And then you go up the next one, and it's pretty technical. And to see some of these guys, like probably your buddy you pace, fly down that thing, I'm like, how do you not? It's usually not the 100-milers, but the guys doing the 17 and 34.
You don't even touch the ground.
Fly down that. And I'm like, how are you not breaking your flipping neck?
Yeah.
What are they thinking? Did you have a crew, pacers?
I had, I don't know if I had a crew. I had a pacers. Let me take that back. In 16, I had a pacer. Doug Kleemeyer paced me. Okay. And my brother came in. He paced me a little bit earlier in the evening, and then I think Doug took over at sometime in the morning-ish. Got me through the 4th and 5th lap, and then I think the 6th lap I took off on my own. The great thing about the good thing about that race that there is that you do get to come back to your car if you want. And I had my truck there, and I basically had my own aid station, had all my supplies, and I would come through. I'd check my number, and then I just go in there and like, what do I need? Is it cold? And then you could swap out. But again, it's that pushing away from your vehicle when you know you could literally get in it and go home. That's the tough part. But it is so. Doing that, getting onwards, having my head a lot more full of better nutrition, better things that I need motivation to push forward. And I think just knowing people out there. I think 2013, I knew of people, but I could go out to every aid station and I knew somebody there. I could talk to somebody. Just after a while, 20, whatever that took me, 30 some hours, you get kind of lonely. If you're just out there by yourself and don't know anybody, what's the point? If you're not having fun and you're not talking to anybody, what's the point?
Yeah, that's crazy. So so you learned a lot. You go back, you finish it, and when you finish it, are you thinking, well, I'm going to do a dozen more of these? Are you thinking like I'm going to catch up to John Taylor? No. By the way, when I did my one and only Zumbro first lap, like 2 miles in, who's beside me? And I'm filming him, John Taylor. I have no idea who he is. And he's talking, and I'm like, hi. He's like, yeah, I do a lot of these. I'm like, I'm like, have you done this 100-mile version? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've done a few 100 miles. I'm like, how many? 108. I'm like, such a modest guy. And the next guy I run into that I run for 10 miles with is Dave Shannon. So that's how I got connected to fans and Dave and all that. So, Chris, when you get done 2016, you've conquered it. Conquered Zumbro, 100-mile. Because I'm looking at your ultra sign up, and there's a big gap. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna ask about that, but. What happens after Zumbro? Were you thinking, okay, this is just the first of many, or shit, I've done it, now I'm good?
I think it was at that point in my life where I had with my kids' age, where they were in sports and stuff like that, and the amount that my wife knew how much it was taking out of my life, and then in turn out of her life and out of the family's life and all that stuff. I'm sure runners do that all the time. And so it wasn't an ultimatum, but it was the wife look, like maybe you need to, calm this down a little bit for a while. Mm-hmm. So, I realigned my schedule in the sense that I'm run early in the morning when, especially Saturday, Sunday runs before anybody's up. And when I run at night, everybody's going to be in bed and that kind of stuff. So that really, and then I thought, my wife was getting a little anxious and would worry about me at these hundreds and stuff. And I didn't want to be honest, I didn't want to put her through that. Just being a nice husband, I guess. And I said, well, I'll hold off on that. Little did she know, it was 2 years later, I think 2 years, I went off and ran the Grand Canyon. And I thought, it's just only 50 miles. I want to go do the rim to rim. Oh, God.
And wait a minute. You did rim to rim to rim?
Yeah, I didn't tell her how there's no fences, no gates, no.
Oh God!
I told her afterwards. I showed her some videos afterwards, and she was like, "What? What did you do?"
Oh no!
You want to let
my wife and I did the Grand Canyon, and we only did rim to the river to the rim.
Yep.
And we were not. Not that I'm in great condition, but I was not in shape like I am now. I had no idea on nutrition. My wife had run marathons, but not for many years. Mm-hmm. We got divorced, Chris, 3 times on the way up.
Yeah, I bet.
Up Bright Angel Trail. That thing was just a nightmare. Because I thought we left, 7 in the morning, and there was snow at the top. It was 85 degrees, 90 at the bottom. And we didn't have headlamps. Of course, it got dark before we got up. We saw a helicopter. Somebody got injured so bad they have to be helicoptered out in front of us. Somebody else dehydrated themselves where the medics had to come down with the and I'm like, it was horrible. So how did you tell me about the Grand Canyon? Because I know Dave's done it, Bill and Mandy have done it, I've done it, but you did rim to rim to rim. Did you do it all in one shot? Did you stay overnight somewhere?
No, I did it all in one shot. I'd seen it around Facebook or whatever, and who knew you could run across the Grand Canyon? I had no idea. I thought that place is so huge. What, I can't do that. People were doing it, and it was and I thought, well, so it's, those things, they just sit in your head and then they stir about, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I could do that. So I put out there was a running group, I forget which one it was. I thought, anybody interested in running the Grand Canyon? And I don't know if you've met Timothy Iwata. He's big red beard, red hair. You can't miss him once you meet him. Great guy. He responded back, yeah, I'm interested. I'd love to go. I've never met Tim in my life, And
okay. That's a perfect stranger.
So we talk via Facebook and text, and we meet at the airport for the first time, and then we're off to Arizona. So we fly to Arizona, fly to Phoenix. We've been training. We drive up there, up to the canyon, and we get our hotel right on the edge, basically.
Yeah.
And we get something to eat, and we're kind of just stir crazy, and we're sitting there, and we're going to go to bed. We're going to get up early at 4. We're going to go run. It's 1 o'clock, and we're like, let's just go. So we just got
1 o'clock in the morning.
1 o'clock in the morning, we just wanted to go. So we just jumped up.
Oh, God.
Tim's just a lot faster runner, stronger runner than I am. But we made it down together. We got down to the Phantom Ranch and stuff. And I'm like, if you got it, just go. So he got across the flat part. He started working his way up. We caught up to each other. He was stronger on the uphill, but at the end of the day, we all finished. We both finished at roughly the same time. He got dehydrated and had a time, but
okay.
I care. Most people do. It was so hot. It was 100
what
degrees
month?
down.
Okay, what month did you go in?
We went in April, so it was Earth Day, so it was April 21st. I remember it being Earth Day.
Yeah.
For some reason.
We went in October, and it's kind of like April or October are the good times, but even then, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. So a great experience, and to see the Grand Canyon in a way that most people never do was a blessing. I would love to do.
Yeah. How long did it take you? So you were in the dark that first part going down.
I want to say it was 16 hours. I took an hour break down on the bottom before Phantom Ranch. Changed my socks out, got soaked, got full of water, and everything. Just I'm not. It took me a while to realize I wasn't in a race, to be honest. I think you have the mentality like, okay, I'm off, I'm all geared up, I'm racing. I'm like, who are you racing? Yeah. And so I remember getting to the top and like waiting for the finish line. I'm like, had that mentality, like I'm still in that, but so I remember taking that hour break, and that really saved my behind, I think, on that one, because I was just sit down, clean up, get food, get water, load up, and then reset and get going again. So
did you go down? What's the trail you go down that everybody goes down?
I went down. We just went Bright Angel up north.
You went Bright Angel?
Yeah, we went down Bright Angel, came up Bright Angel. So we didn't,
okay.
Yeah. There was water. We just wanted to make sure we had water because the other side didn't have water. There was a South Kaibab, didn't have water. You don't have water on that side. Bright Angel has water all the way down. You can make it down easily on the south side without water, but we didn't know.
Yeah, the story that we got was don't attempt this, and we were like, come on, my wife's a marathoner and I'm tough.
Yeah, I'm stubborn.
And we only did half that. But so which did you think was the harder climb? The climb out at the end of the day up Bright Angel, or the climb up the North Rim?
I think
how tough a climb was that?
I think if you had to do them both fresh, I would probably say the north side is harder.
Really?
But I think, obviously you're coming back you're tired. You're 35, 40 miles into this thing, and now you got to do, cutbacks all the way up this hill, and then all you just want to get back, and it's getting cooler, but it's also, you're starting at, when I started, it was 90 something degrees, and then working away out of that stuff. So, but I loved it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you guys almost did it like two solos. You weren't together the whole time.
No,
right?
we weren't. I just because I'm not going to hold you back. I'm not going to be your anchor. I'm like, Tim, just go. And Had his time, and I had mine. And
you had your headlamps. Your headlamps never ran out of battery,
no, we never had to turn them back on. Coming out in the afternoon. So we left so early, that we used them from 1 a.m. ish, whatever it was, into the morning. And then
maybe that's the way to do it. Leave at midnight, and then you're back before you.
A lot of people leave, like, I think it's 4 is a typical time people go out. But we were just so antsy. We didn't even, we got on the plane that morning and flew in, got some food, and Flagstaff, and got there, and we had lunch or dinner, and then we're like sitting around watching, just wired. Yeah, why not? We're sitting here. What are we sitting here for?
How did the wife take that?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really say much about it. Then I remember watching a video on YouTube, and they looked like I was there, and she's like, "What?" And the cliffs are just these huge drop offs. And she looked at me like, she's thinking about her kids. She's thinking about me, and I get it. But so to get back to the break, that was the break. But I ended up doing other things, non-race, I was still running, having a blast and volunteering a lot. But I had 2 daughters to raise, so.
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. Grand Canyon. So 2016 on Ultra Sign Up, you're doing other stuff, but you're taking a break. You're still doing running. You're just not probably doing a lot of races. You're doing other adventures, raising your kids, doing life. That's about the time you start up the St Croix Running Company?
Yeah.
Tell me that story. How do you start a race company? How does that happen?
Just like you start a podcast, I had run with some people out of River Falls here, and one day they were like, come down to River Falls and run with us. I went over there and met up this group, and this one lady, Jenny, was there, and we hit it off. And the group that we were running with was probably doing a 10-mile run, and she wanted to do 16, 18, where it was. And I'm like, okay, I'll go that. We tooled around, a little more River Falls, and then we ended up going down on this trail where the Icebox Trail is now, the race is now. And we ran around it. And while we're doing that, she mentioned something. Her husband, both of them, I guess, were really into mountain biking at the time. And there's a race there, a mountain biking race. I don't know if they still do it or not, but they called it the Icebox 240. And what they would do for 4 hours, they just take their bikes out and they leave from the brewery there, and then they would get as many laps as they could in 240 minutes, and they drink a lot and do this and stuff. And she says, we should put on a race. We could, we were talking back, we could double that. We're runners. We could go further than that. And I said, how about the Icebox 480? So her and I, that was it was a talk. It was a point. And one day we're like, well, why not? Let's do it. And then I had talked to I knew John, on an acquaintance level, John Storkamp, and I called him up and I just said, what do I need to do? How do you get this ball rolling? And he gave me some advice, and he was all about it. He'd get the running community. The more races, the better. It wasn't a competition for him. He was just gave me everything, all the advice I needed. And then Jenny and I, we started it up, and she was with me doing that for 2 years, and then I think she just lost interest with doing the race directing side. At that time, 2 or 3 years into it, in Antiopa, the Frontenac race, had opened up the race director there. He had it for 20 some years. Larry, he dropped it. I got a call. You want this race? Took that race, and then I thought I live 5 miles away from the Willow course here.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I gotta jump into that one. I called them up and asked them if they wanted to, if I could have a race there in the spring, and because they had one in the fall, and they would love to have a couple more races out there and stuff. And just asking, and got a little bit bigger and started the Kinney, which is this year. I'm not doing it, but I did that for 3-4 years. I started the Trout Brook, 4 years ago? I don't know the math right now. I should look it up.
I've got all the dates. Don't worry, I got you covered. 2013 is when you start the Icebox 480, 240. You can do 8 hour, 4 hour. I've done that one. I have told all my friends, you've got to do it. Kevin Swifty, my buddy Swifty, he lives in Wisconsin, lives in Chippewa Falls. He and I did Storm the Day one year, and I'm like, you know what you need to do is you need to do Icebox 480 because it's great. I love that course. My movie I made was called Berms, Beams, or something mountain bikey because it was and bacon. By the way, I'm eating bacon right now, leftover from my fans food. But yeah, so that one is great. That one I didn't realize that was your first one. Was there a lot of in 2013, Chris, these timed events, or was that something new? Because I only came across trail running, 4 or so years ago.
I think I'd heard of fans, in that. Okay. I think it was hosted in Nokomis at the time. I think I stumbled across it while just on a training run one time. So I'd heard about it. Obviously it wasn't something I thought of. And I thought, that's an interesting concept. And then obviously it spun off from whoever started the bike idea, that timed idea.
Right. Right.
And then, really grew into that. The focus I wanted to keep it smaller. I want to give it that somebody you can attempt your first ultra. You can get to that 26, 30 mile mark. You can do that in 8 hours. Sometimes the course is a little difficult, but you put your head down and you manage your breaks. You can accomplish your goal, and so for a lot of people, it has been their first ultra, and it's fun to see them come across and just smiling ear to ear about that. This is my first entry into this, and I've seen people go out there with study for their nursing exams carrying books. I see people go out there with full backpacks, on training for some winter race. It's just that however they want to manage their day. I see people go over, do a couple hours, go get some beer. We don't allow beer at the race, but they get the beer with the cow on it. I forget. You can get in Wisconsin, so they can make their purchase of beer, and then they come back to the race. It's always something. But and then there's some people that just really bust their butt, and I think the record's 56 miles. Or something.
Is that the record? God!
It's on the Ultra sign up.
Somebody averaged 7 miles an hour on that thing.
Yeah, for 8 hours. It's just
God. That's moving.
That's insane. Yeah. It was 53-ish was the record for a while, and that was Jeff Miller, and then I think Doug had it for a while and bounced around, but then somebody just smashed it with that 56, 7.
That's crazy. It's in the fall. I forget. Is it November or October?
November. It's the first Saturday in November.
First Saturday in November. Yeah. So perfect time of year. Nice and cool.
Yep.
Highly recommend it. So that's your first one. And then the next one is, how do you pronounce it? Iantiopa?
That's as good as you can get. Yep.
Okay. What does Iantiopa mean, by the way? That one's at Frontenac State Park. But what does Iantiopa mean?
There's a rock sculpture. Not even a sculpture. There's a rock piece down there, and it's basically the wind or the water. It's got a hole in it. And the Native Americans called it rock with a hole in it. And that's in Iantiopa. That's what it means.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, when you see it, like very obvious, like, okay, that's got a big, it's just a big arch and there's a hole in it. I love it. That's
one of the ones I've not done, so I have to get out there. Frontenac State, is it Frontenac or Frontenac, or how do you say it?
Frontenac, yep.
Yep. Us Americans, we say Frontenac. I'm sure the French or somebody else would say something different. But.
Probably true.
And what time of year is that one, Chris?
That is in September, so I think it's usually 2 weeks after Superior. We changed it a little bit. There's another race up at just north of us here, and we kind of end up swapping the dates around a little bit on that one. It's 2 or 3 weeks after Superior usually.
And that's a 5 or a 10 mile, right?
Yeah. So it used to be just a 10, and then we're like, well, we're out here anyways. Well, let's put a 5 and stuff. So
might as well.
Get some people.
Heather Vingay. Do you know Heather Vingay Hansen? She's a local trail runner based out of Rochester.
Okay.
She's friends with Bill and Mandy and all those folks. And I interviewed her a few weeks ago, and she said that is absolutely one of her favorite races. She says something about the trail, the area out there is just absolutely magical. So
it's got a little bit of everything. It's got, you're running on the pastures, you're running on single track, you're climbing big hills, you're on single track single track dirt trails. You're climbing stairs at the end, swearing at the race director. You come in fast down the flat at the end. So you got it's to me it's a good challenge, and I highly recommend it for anybody. If I used to race it before I was a race director on it, and now I definitely go out there. I grew up around that area. We had a family cabin down there. My dad lives down there now. Growing up, and I really didn't appreciate that state park as much as I did when I was there. But now that I'm, it's a beautiful little park, and it's got one of the highest or the quickest elevation climbs in the state. So a lot of people that are serious about the superiors in the world, they will start this top parking lot, and they will run down to the river, and they'll run back up these stairs and up because it's the exact vertical. But the guys that are dead serious about climbing and getting their vert.
Okay.
Frontenac of all places. So
great. There you go. The next one is the Willow 2018, 10 or 20 miler. There again, did you always start with two distances, or was it like, you're doing 2 laps, miles will do 1 lap, or?
Yeah. No, that definitely started with 2 from the get go. As a race director, it's trying to find that best course for everybody, and then also there's the financial part of it. How do you maximize the audience? And there's people that just don't want to run 20. People that want to run. People just want their 10 miles, and that's fine. So why not do it twice? And while we're out there, kind of thing. I just went out, called the park ranger, met up with him, and he was giddy about it. Aaron out there,
really
was a great guy, and he was pretty excited about it.
Did you set them both up at the same time? The Trout Brook and the Willow? No,
there was another race out there called the Three Sisters. I think it was Three Sisters and that was in the fall. And they the group of volunteers that manage the manage the trail system and that kind of thing. And they started this Three Sisters race. And they didn't, and it got just too much for them. It got too big for them. Nobody wanted to do it. It was, and stuff. And so then they were going to fold it. I didn't know they were folding it. And then I went up. I said, "Well, do you mind if I do a fall version?" They go, "Perfect timing. They're folding. We want you in." And I didn't want to take over what they had. So I wanted to use more of the single track stuff. The Trout Brook has a lot more single track at the beginning of it than the Willow does.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's the same course because so folks from my audience, the Willow is clockwise around Willow State Park. Both races you get to pass by the waterfall, which is just magical. I always film that every time. Everybody takes a photo there because it's so fantastic. It's a great park. But in the Trout Brook, which is the one in the fall, you go counterclockwise. Yep. And the beginning of that first half is it's not on that prairie. It's all single track in the woods.
We take you up behind this nature center. We go into this single track. We kind of pop you out near the falls. You come across. You got to go back all the way up these big climb, and then you come back in. You see the falls, and then you get to climb the stairs. So you probably run by the big stairs when you did Willow. Climb you up the stairs and stuff, and then you tour around back out there. But it's definitely, you get to see parts of the park that most people, if you're not looking for the single track, you don't know it's there and stuff. So.
Yeah. My good friend Eric Walker, who I've interviewed on here, he and I worked together 20 years ago, but we've been friends. He always signs up for that race last minute. And was it 3 years ago he signed up for it? And I'm like, sure, I'll go. I was going to volunteer, but you had volunteers. I was like, I'll just run the race with you. Mm-hmm. And I think he came in second or third. Okay. He's still on like the top 10 of best times, like an hour 23 for 10 miles. I'm like, I can't, not even in my dreams am I going that fast. And then a Strava friend of mine, Hope Roberts, if you know Hope, I don't know if she came in second or she's up there like one of the best women's times on that course too. I don't know if it was the same year or a different year, but
I think
people
Hope
fly on that.
I think Hope has run the Frontenac too and done well there, if I remember right. But
okay.
Sometimes all these names get mixed together between the races, like who's who. Keeping track of who's done well and what is over the years they kind of blur together for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the Kinney. You come up. This is the one that you're not doing this year, right?
Yep.
Because it's okay. I wrote it down because it's really unique, and now I'm bummed. Are you never doing it again? Did I miss out?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if you missed out. I had. It's more of a. How do you say this? It's usually in race directing, from what I gather, you give a race good 3 to 4 years and see if it gets the numbers you want. Because your first year you're probably going to get the first interest, and you're gonna get a bigger number than you think. It's going to spike. It's going to go, okay, a new race, everybody runs to it, and then it dips and it kind of planes out a little bit. But if it begins to keep that interest, just from a business standpoint, you look at it and go, does it have enough stay around power? But the numbers have just been kind of sliding down on it, and I just didn't really. I just was like, do I? From a work standpoint, I have to take a day off of work. I have to do this. I do this and this. So you do the math and you go, is it worth a vacation day? Is it 30 people running? This. You start going, maybe not. But the goofy thing is, and I never want to say never, but I've had a lot of emails. People, where's the Kinney? Is it coming back? I'm like, well, now you ask, but I made that decision back in December, to not do it, So.
So I do want to talk a little bit about it because it's really unique. I never did it. I don't remember if Eric did it, but it's kind of like, were you inspired by the Barkley?
Oh, 100%.
Right? Tell me, explain the race to us, this race that does not exist right now.
The race that does not exist. Yeah, definitely it's reminiscent of the Barkley and a total ripoff, so I'm not taking any credit for that on the idea. We put out 4 books out on the course. We provide you with a map at the beginning and telling you where they're at. So it's not really a directional thing. They're not hidden. They're not tucked away anywhere. They're on big orange buckets. We put them out there, and so you basically have to fall over the thing. I mean, you have to. I don't know. You basically trip over.
You can't miss them.
Yeah, where you don't need a compass and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So the idea is, run to this corner of the park. Go find that, rip that page, find your bib number. If it's 22, find page 22, rip that out, bring it back to us. So you get your mileage going out, you get your mileage coming back to the long one. There's one that's like at the bottom of this big hill that takes you down to the river. We put 2 other ones in different places in the course. So between all that mileage, if you do it dead on accurate, you probably end up under 10 miles.
Okay.
But there's some turns and there's some different, you can go this way, you can go that way. Some people go straight through. Some people are really good with maps. Some people aren't. You're not going to get lost. It's a state park. They got huge trails. They got trails. But the idea is there. And then whoever gets back with all their pages in time, wins it. And
did you have to do one at a time, or could you get all the pages?
You have to do it one at a time. So you have to come back.
One at a time.
Bring that back. Say, I don't want out here. We check it off. You go ahead and another one, bring it back, and check it off. And then as a race director, the best part about it, I think, is when I say go, and there's no strategy. So people just go all these directions.
Right.
Yeah, there's no conga line. There's no this nor that. It's just off I go. And it's really great to see what people's strategy. Some people want to get the long part done. People want to get the hill done. People want to get the 2 mediums done. Whatever. It's fun to see that the strategies and what wins it and what doesn't. And
you have an aid station just like at the central place then or something?
Yeah, just the central. People bring their drop bags if they want them. If it's 10 miles, we don't need them, but they bring something, and if they want. And we have plenty of food, plenty of drink, plenty of whatever, because the most they're running is, I think, the longest one is maybe 3 out, 3 back, if that. 2 out, right? 2.5 out. Yeah. So
was there a conch shell and a cigarette involved?
There was not. No.
Well, maybe that was the problem, Chris.
I didn't want to go too far. I could sue.
Too funny.
But, yeah.
Well, we all ended up doing backyards, and I don't think he sued anybody for that. And now it's all authorized. I suppose. Does he get a franchise fee for those backyards?
I would think so. I would hope so. They're pretty darn popular. I haven't done one yet. I keep thinking about, do I want to do that? How far would I get? I don't know.
So I guess I'm not surprised at the popularity. It is a wonderful concept, once again, from him. But it does not appeal to me, Chris. Yeah, Mario likes it. Jason Reeves tried it this year, and he was like, I'm done. Eric Spiegler and we're just like, no, I cannot. Running 4 miles an hour, I mean, I know a 15-minute mile doesn't sound like much, but to try to do that more than 2 or 3 times, I'm done. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Does that interest you? Is that up your alley?
No, from a race director standpoint, I find it interesting to do, but and I say that in the sense, and not that I want to do one or put one on. I think about it in the sense that if I were to start like on a Friday, I could possibly be there till Monday, and that. So I think my brain goes right to the logistics of it all, and how I'm putting those things and putting it on is fascinating to me. So as far as running it, I'd rather have a destination, have a point, like Superior, go start somewhere and end up in Lutz, and have a destination. To me, is a lot more attractive race than that. But to each their own. I mean, the guys that do it, that Mark, from the guy from the one, the BPN, 300 some miles, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's I think the record is 600-700 miles. Doing that. Like, what?
I don't understand it. Are they sleeping like 5 minutes every time, or every third time they sleep 15 minutes? How? I don't get it.
I mean, they're good at it. They can shut their brain down quick, and they can get back at it. It's not. I had a hard time getting through fans. I think I maybe 10 minutes. But.
And fans is a 2 mile loop. Yeah, it's shorter, but 4 miles isn't that long. Don't you get sick and tired of running the 4 mile loop all the time for days on end? Yeah.
To each, some people love it, and all the power to them. It's not my thing.
Yeah, that is crazy. All right, so now you're down to 4 races. Have you got any like that you're thinking about for next year, or is like 4 the right amount? What are you thinking in terms of how St Croix Running Company is sitting right now? Are you feeling good? Like this is a sweet spot, or do you feel like it needs to grow a little bit more?
St Croix Running Company may be sold.
Oh, are we breaking news?
We are breaking news, and it hasn't been sold yet, but it's being farmed out there in the sense that, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means if it's a sold as in here you give me a number, give me this, and I'll give you all the tables and all the contact lists and stuff you want. Doesn't mean off to and when I say sold, doesn't mean just passing it off to the next person and let them. It's also kind of it's kind of your baby, and you want to give it to the next person that's going to enjoy it for the next 15-ish years, and continue to do good by it. I still love doing it. That was probably some of the reason I trimmed it down. I didn't want to fall out of love with race directing. I think if you're doing race directing for the money, you're probably doing it for the wrong reason. It's just the hourly rate isn't there. So to me, not having a race in August and then doing September, October, November felt a little more manageable in my life. So so I think I just put it out there, and I throw it out there to the universe, and if the right people, somebody wants to come along and be the next race director or take this over, who knows? Get a hold of me. Well, we can always.
Bill and Mandy. I know you guys are in the business of acquiring races. You have like Ironman races, and they just acquired Chester Woods, Storm the Woods now. So I don't know. They do have. I know. I interviewed them. I'm like, I don't know how you guys have a life. I don't know how you function, but
they can. I don't know. Do they have regular jobs too? Do they have their?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do, Chris. And so get this: they did Chester Woods last weekend. Yeah. Trinona is this weekend. Can you imagine back-to-back massive events like that? I
mean, yes, difficult, 100%. I give all the credit to them. I think if they have two people doing it too, like John and Sherry, I mean, they divide and conquer, and they have somebody's doing volunteering in the food, and somebody's doing the timing. So they got, if you're just doing one. My brain is 14 different places every minute of the day, and I'm trying to hold down my job, and I'm, I kind of, I think that it might be just a little easier with two people, but my wife helps me out when she can, but she's she comes to the races, she helps out the day of, but she's not actively involved in the.
Does she trail run, Chris?
Is she hates running.
Okay.
It's not her thing at all. She doesn't hate it because I like it. She just had a bad experience in college running, and took it as a class. And getting up when you're hungover and 19 years old and they tell you have to run an 8-minute mile. It's just south from there. It's just like So to answer your question, I think 4 is a comfortable number for now, and we'll see where it goes. And it's been great to me. I've learned. The amount of people I've met, the amount of stuff I've learned doing it, the community. I would have never met you. It just goes on and on. The connections and the friendships that I made. The money is here nor there. That comes and goes. But I can't say enough about it. I would not trade it for the world.
Yeah, and these races are not. Very rarely does somebody be a race director for 50 years. These, like Bill and Mandy, they're acquiring races and things. People do them for a while, and they're a huge undertaking. I got to imagine it's time to pass it on to someone else to try to nurture. And like you took over the race and kind of made it your own and do, the Trout Brook and things like that. So, I don't blame you. And this is going to lead us to our next section is... If that happens, it gives you more time to do your own races. Is that also part of this? Because we're going to transition into fans and Superior. Okay. Is that part of it too?
I don't know. More time? I don't know if that's I think hopefully I'm that Fast Eddie. I don't know if you met him during the race. I'm still wandering around doing these, walking 70, 80 miles on fans. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I won't be him because that's another league in and of itself. But hopefully, I'm out. I just want to be doing something active and moving forward. And what that means, yes, I love running. I want to keep running as long as my body will let me. I don't plan more than maybe a year or 2 years ahead. I thought about Superior and that had been noodling in my head. Fans, I didn't think about fans until about a month ago, and I was like, well, maybe I should do fans just so I could know where I'm at. Get ready for Superior was my goal. But who knows what next year brings? Let's get through the summer healthy, and then let's get to Superior and finish that, and and then see what's next. I mean,
we're gonna talk about fans next. This last weekend, and then we're gonna talk about Superior. So. As we started the podcast with, you and I both did 24-hour fans. You just signed up recently for it as kind of a training run for, you admitted that, for Superior. You had a goal. You said your goal. What was your goal?
My goal, from the get-go, my goal was I thought I could do 100. And I just threw out there, and I didn't, and I said that, and I didn't really do any research. And then I went back and looked at all the people before me and their ages that had got to 100 in the past, and I thought, what? I'm an idiot. What was I just saying? I can't. I'm not in that league anyway. So I dialed it back, and I said, I could probably do 80. If I push myself, the cards in the right spot, I could do 80. Then the morning of and the heat and everything, I'm like, well, I'm going to go for 70. That was, and it just kept getting checked back.
Yeah.
I think as the day wore on, we all know I think it was a great start. I started well.
Yeah.
I ran the first 25 to 30 miles, mostly. Walked the hills, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then I started. I felt more dehydrated than I should be, and my body was showing it. So then I thought, well, I'm gonna take 2 laps here, and I'm just gonna hydrate like mad. I just started putting on the water as much as I could, and that it helped out physically. But I think once I got in the habit of walking, and I walked 2 laps, and then I just didn't want to run anymore. It's a habit. You get taught. You trick yourself into that. Not moving forward, not taking the next step, it's comfortable for whatever reason, and then the night comes and you just find yourself and keep telling yourself you should be running. You choose to run, and then I don't, and then so for whatever reason, I didn't. But then that goal came from 70 back down. Well, let's get the 100K, and got that. I don't say just, but. From 100 down to 63 miles was.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good reality. It was good. It was good for me. It was a good place. And I'm not disappointed by it by any means. I learned a ton, and this is the reason I learned a lot about what I wanted to do. I learned about it, and I got to walk and hang out with a lot of people. Rick Berg and I know each other, but we spent a lot of time on the course together. This past weekend, and we got to know each other a lot better. And he ended up sneaking in another lap after I left. Scoundrel!
God dang it!
He had his shoes off. He was changed his shirt. He was done. And this girl comes up to him and says, "I got my 100K," and he's like, "I got my 57 or whatever it was," and or 60 or something, and. He's like, but 100K sounds so much better than what he had before. He's like, maybe I should do that. So I talked him into it. I said, well, come on. No, I can't do it. Do it. I walked around a loop. He's coming across the parking lot, shoes on. He's already ripped off his bib. He's got his, what do you call it, the thing on his ankle, tracker. But he's still got
ankle monitor, as we called them.
Yeah, he's still got that. And I talked him into it. So I got my 100K, and he's got one more to do to get his 100K. I leave, and then I checked the numbers yesterday, and I'm like, oh, he went one more. We had a little banter, but good for him, and I'm glad he stuck it out and went and pushed himself and got that. Yeah. Got that more. He wanted to, like you said, 100K sounds so much better than the 50 something he had.
Yeah, I had my issues. My hydration was great.
You do not bring a bed to fan.
No, don't. Well, here's the problem, Chris, is I mean, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, I had a skydiving accident that effed up my tailbone and my sciatica. And so my lower extremities and my feet go numb sometimes when I'm walking or running. And so I got to stop and stretch. And literally, like, almost never happens on a long trail run. It's never happened out at any of your races. It's usually like, start the day and I'm fine. And for some reason, I had my family there too. And I was running, and then my family showed up, and I did a lot of walking laps. And I loved that they were there, and I loved walking laps. But kind of like you said, it was like, I guess I'm just going to be walking then. I don't need to run because I've been walking all day with my family. I don't need to run any laps. And so by the time 8 o'clock rolls around, I'm barely at 30K, and I'm like, oh, crap. My goal was 100K, and I'm like, there's no way in this heat, and it's night. I've never run at night, and I'm tired. And so I literally laid down for like not even that long, got up, and my back went out. So then I was like, each lap took me an hour to get through because I'd have to stop and stretch my back out so my legs would, get feeling in them so I could move 50 yards and then stop. And so then I went back and tried to lay down longer to thinking, because when I go to bed at night, usually when I get up, my sciatica and my everything is settled down. And well, that just made it worse. It didn't help it at all. So I was so messed up. I left, I think, 3 hours early and said, I got 40 miles. I was like, 40 miles is more than
Wow,
0 miles.
Nothing to scoff at.
Nothing is. I learned a lot. And it was just miserably hot. I hate the heat. I love, spring races, fall races, June and July. You never know what you're going to get. That's why I'm always scared to do Afton, because you never know if it's going to be super hot. And I just wilted and I could not get going. Mario, who I was with, he got to 82.
Wow. There you go.
Jason Reeves showed up, paced him through the night, and they walked all night. And then when I was decided to pull the plug, I see Mario and he's running past me. He's like, I'm running again. There he goes. And he said he got a second win and he kept going.
I was hoping
82 miles.
My body didn't, even I think into Sunday night sleeping wise, I think when you run in those temperatures and you run that distance, your temperature control systems in your body get all out of whack. At least mine do. And I mean, I felt like, I don't know what menopause is, so forgive me, but I was hot, cold all night. And, even into Monday at work, I was at work and I was just like, 1 minute I was sweating, next minute I was freezing. And by noonish or so on Monday, my body started to regulate, started to figure itself out again. But it was like, what's going on? And then I had to think about it. It was that exposure to the temperature for that long. And then obviously pushing ourselves, dehydration, all that added up quick. And like I said, I learned that. I didn't understand that part of it.
Would you go back and do it again? Are you going to do it again?
Yes and no. I was really enticed with the 12-hour. When those 12-hour guys left, and the course cleared out, I was like, I could go home.
Except they did it at the hottest part of the day. Is what the one thing I thought. I'm like, you guys left, and it didn't cool off a lot, but that's when it did finally. The sun went down.
And they start the 12-hour at 8 o'clock at night, and then it's 8 o'clock the next morning.
Well, what they start at 10 o'clock at night, and you go 8 hours. This is the Midnight Marathon. Yeah. I thought about this, and I thought, I love Dave Shannon, and I love the event. I think it's a good cause. I don't want to sit there in the heat, but I might do the Midnight Marathon next year. Yeah. Show up at 10 p.m., run till 6, and, get your 26 miles in and call it a night.
Yeah. No, I mean, you would ask me 2 days ago, there's no chance in hell. I think it's now, it's like any ultra or anything. You do it a couple days later and you're like, maybe, so maybe 6 months, probably sign up again.
That's how we are. Okay, you mentioned this was a training thing for Superior. Let's talk Superior a little bit here before we wrap it up. Superior, when did you decide you wanted to do the quintessential 100-mile race in Minnesota? I call it the quintessential because it is, right? It's the quintessential 100-mile race. There's other ones, but it's on the Superior Hiking Trail. It's the oldest.
I'd sworn it off for years. I have paced people up there. Doug Kleinmeyer, I keep mentioning him, but he's a good friend of mine, and I've paced him when he's come in the top 5, and I've sworn at that course and loved it and hated it, and I've thought, no, this is not for me, because it's true what it says. It's rocky, it's rootless, it's rocky, rooted, and relentless, and it keeps coming at you. And even if you're pacing and you're semi-fresh, it just keep beating you over the head. I'm like, why would I want to do that? And so in saying so, over the years, it's kind of built up. It's kind of scared me after a while, to be honest. It's just kind of like, and then I had to I don't know if this is the midlife crisis thing or what, but why am I scared of this race? First off, a lot of my friends have done it. A lot, they've all conquered it. Some have not, but some, I'm like, I got to get this monkey off my back, and I want, I'm gonna go do Superior. I'm going to get the sweatshirt. I'm going to get the belt buckle. I'm going to get the star. Whatever. I'm going to get the sticker. I don't care. But I want to get that kind of monkey off my back and not be afraid of a race. I don't say afraid as in a fear, as in somebody coming in your house and doing something, but there's just like this. It's kind of I know how tough it is, and I know that I would probably regret it if I didn't. I'm 55 right now, and we'll see where that, I don't know if I want to, if I'm gonna keep trying after that and stuff. So let's give it a run, and I got in, and so I'm like, oh crap, now you're in. Now you got to start going and stuff. So definitely looking forward to it. I got more and more family now that are like talking about, they want to come up, they want to crew, they want to pace and stuff too. So I know the environment, I know the course. At least I know Finland on. I don't know the front half too well.
Okay. And I've talked about this course on a lot of my pods, but I did pull up the stats. It's 10th oldest 100-mile race in the United States. Mm-hmm. Started in 1991. We know John didn't start it, but do you remember what year he got it? He's had it for a while.
Yeah, I'd misspoke if I told you. Larry, the guy that gave me Ini Antiopa, started Superior.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thinking on Larry's last name. Forgive me if he ever hears this.
Okay.
But Larry knows who he is, and Larry's kind of been that godfather of those bigger races. And then so John would go up to that race. He'd volunteer. He'd help out. He'd run it, race it. Yeah. And then Larry just kind of outgrew him, and John was the next one in line.
Yeah. That's what happens with races. They get passed on. It's all good. So it's 102.9 miles. Yeah. Don't call it 103.
That last little 3 miles it gets you.
Yeah, 17,350 feet of gain, which does not sound like a lot for 100 miles, but it's all rocks and roots, and some of those are really steep, and at night, slippery. It starts at Gooseberry Falls and goes up to Caribou Highlands Lodge, Lutzen. 13 aid stations, 38-hour cutoff, 300 entrants. Yeah. And so did you I know you've got a training plan because you've talked about it. Yeah. You've got a plan. Do you have a coach?
I don't. It's funny. I was talking to Jeff Miller to do it, and then we were in the conversations to have him be my coach, and then my furnace went out. So I didn't want to approach my wife with saying, we need a furnace, and I want to pay a coach running coach at the same time. And literally, they happened on the same day. I was like, I'd rather stay married. So 30 years of married, I made some good decisions, and I'd highly recommend if anybody needs a coach, talk to Jeff Miller. Okay. He obviously came in second at Fans.
Came in second to Nick. Yeah,
guy's
they were both
consistent. Yeah, he knows his SHIT. He will get you there. A ton of people. Yeah. So I'll put a little promo out there for him if you contact Jeff Miller if you did.
All right. I'll have a link to Jeff in the show notes. Jeff, we got you. So you do not have a coach. You put it together a training plan yourself?
Yeah. Put together myself. A little AI, a little bit of myself, a little bit of knowledge, some books. Really just focusing on the back-to-backs. I don't have the time during the week to put in the big miles that I want. I think next week or the week after I start, like on a Wednesday, I'll put in a 13. So I told my boss, Wednesdays I'm going to come in a little bit later. I'll stay a little bit later, kind of thing. So, but I try to put in a longer run, and then I try to do my back-to-backs on Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
So, I'm not too wound up about speed work. I want to finish with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Or at least some semblance of a smile, and finish healthy. I finished Fans healthy. Hands are a little tight, but other than that, no blisters, no losing any limbs or anything. So
great. Are you doing any recce work up there? Are you going to go up to the SHT at all before it to preview? I mean, I know you've been on the course pacing. Are you going to do any?
Yeah,
any runs up there beforehand?
Shout out to Jeff. He does 2 little camps with his running crews or people he coaches in the summer here. So he does one part of the first part of the course and the second part of the course. So I'm trying to connect with him on that first part of the course and get my head around that a little bit. I've been to all the aid stations, but I've never ran through it. So it'd be nice to get my head around that a little bit and do some recon. And then, if I connect with people that are going up, then I'll go up and do that. But Most of my training is going to be Afton, Frontenac, and Willow. Stacking miles there and stuff. So
that's not bad places. I mean, you get a lot of some of the same stuff. We talked about that down at Whitewater State Park. I thought that, I talked with Mandy about that too. That's got a lot of similar features to the SHT as well down there. So you can get that. So you've got your crew lined up, your pacers, you all ready to go?
I think so. Well, yeah. We'll just go.
Okay.
Why not? It's like fans. It just, what do? You get all worried about, I think, the races.
Yeah.
In my experience, I used to get all so wound up about these things, and and at the end of the day, once they say go, it all washes away, and you just start down that trail. So I've gotten better about just showing up on race day with what I have in my pack and what I know, and
there you go.
Some friends and family around me, and let's go. So
you any races before then, or that's the next one? No warm ups.
That is the next
more warm ups.
Yeah, I don't see any. Unless I could do like a charity run or something like that too. And
okay.
You did mention this. I'm gonna throw this out there. You did mention like maybe the 2-year plan, the year after next year. I've been throwing around this idea of, I know bikers do this. They try to circle the whole 494, 694 loop.
Yes.
2 miles, but they try to do it outside the out on the highway, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to figure that route out with the runners. So if somebody out there is thinking about that, I think that would be a heck of a run to just, gas station to gas station, start in Woodbury or wherever, and then just work a big loop all the way around the cities and do that. I think that'd be it'd probably be a fallish run. I think that'd be a blast.
It wouldn't be a Vol State 500K. What would you call it?
No idea. No, this would just be a bunch of idiots getting together, running around, see if we could get that run around the whole loop in a day, basically.
You said how many miles did you say that is?
I've seen bikers do it, and they get 73 miles.
73.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if I haven't mapped it out. I've been playing with it. I've been looking around for routes, and there really isn't any routes yet. So that I know of. If there's any, you probably want to send me a link.
Hey, you were telling me about when you ran across Minnesota.
Yeah.
Tell me, tell my audience again the story. You running across Minnesota.
Yeah, it was 22. Was it? I don't know. I feel like it was. I wanted to do it in 21, and my mom was going to support me or come along. And it was too close. She was a little bit older, obviously, and she was nervous about the pandemic and staying in hotels and stuff. So we pushed it out a year and left on a Sunday morning. We drove over to the South Dakota border and got out and ran the first 25 or whatever it was. And we stayed there, found a hotel, and then she drove me back to that where she got me the night before. I would run 20 in the morning and then go get something to eat and whatever, clean up, and then pack up my bag and do it again. And just worked our way across the state. And we started on Sunday and I was done by Friday. Wow. I think if you ran it straight, you could probably, and you were in good enough shape and you had all this stuff, you could probably do it in 3-ish days. Don't do it during a harvest season. The size of the trucks that come barreling down the road with their full loads of corn, they're not expecting some, like me out there with a vest on and water and, but those things scare the hell out of you. I still got PTSD from, when I see those semis, but it was a blast. It was a great time spending with my mom and great memories. But across Minnesota, got into Hennepin County, and then it started to get hilly and interesting. And I would highly recommend it if anybody ever wanted to do it.
That's crazy. How many miles total was it, Chris? Do you remember?
I think the route I ended up taking was 186 or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Did you set an FKT or anything?
By no means.
I don't.
It was just, I had some vacation days to burn. And
just for fun.
Wanted to do that just for fun. I do goofy things like that. I do the quick trip marathons. I do quick trip. We have 3 of them around here in Hudson, in North Hudson. And then we run to Somerset to get a donut. We have a few guys that we just maybe this weekend we'll, or whatever. If we pick a weekend out of it, we just randomly go to Somerset go get a donut holiday. And it turns out to be a marathon. It's just goofy things like that.
I think I need to do more of that stuff. I think I told you my buddy Joe is running the Vol State 500K, and he's been commuting to work back and forth every day. He's up to 50, 60 miles a week, doing long runs on the weekend. He's been practicing, just running to gas stations and picking up stuff.
Food.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy, but it kind of sounds interesting to me. I want to kind of try some of that stuff.
You can just take your credit card, put that in your pocket, maybe thing of water, and see where the day takes you.
Real quickly before we get to the last section here, your job. You are a product designer. Tell me about that and how that influenced like your race directing and designing of. Because the one thing I'm looking at your guys, St Croix Running Company, your logos and your graphics for all your races, it's the best there is, Chris. Did you design those or?
Start Camp's got me beaten by a long shot, but
well,
I think I think it's just that the organizational sense. As a product designer, you're taking in just a ton of information from product owners and businesses and problems that the users have, and then you're trying to condense them down into making a usable interface that solves that problem. So when I mentioned earlier about just kind of being that quiet listener, that's what you have to be to be a good designer. I think that carries over into being a good race director, listening to what your audience wants, and hopefully giving them a product that a good course, a well timed course, some food at the end, and if you can nail those things, I think you can have a nice good quality race. So I've been a designer my whole adult life, and hopefully I just keep doing that. And,
You've written the book on design. From my little research, you've actually written the book. When did you write the book? What caused you to do that?
It was during the pandemic. I had nothing. You're working at home all day, and then you couldn't do anything and go anywhere. And I was doing previously had learned a lot about personas and stuff, learning about what users think and do, and how you can carry that into your design work. And I just started writing crap down, and next thing you know, I'm like, well, this makes sense, and how would I teach somebody else that? How would I teach another designer coming up? And so I wrote the book over, a couple months and published it on Amazon, and I think 2 people have bought it, but it was just that exercise of like, well, let's publish a book. Let's do something new, stuff. So
I now know a small handful of people who've published their own books, and I'm envious. I think that's awesome. So speaking of writing, I know when I reached out to you, I said one of the reasons I reached out to you is because you've got this blog now on the St Croix Running website where you've been writing journaling. You've been blogging, journaling, and I wanted to ask you about that, where that came from. It's really great stuff. I love your writing. It's very natural, and I totally understand your thoughts and everything you're putting on the page. Is that something you've always done, or is that something recent? Where does the inspiration for the writing and the blogs come from?
I write a lot for work, surprisingly. From writing about interfaces and writing what problems we're trying to solve, how to convey that to the rest of the company, to get budgets and so on. I also write about the interface. I also write it when we're handing stuff off to the technology group. So I'm writing a lot of technical writings all the time to support my design ideas. I just found myself, I wanted to drive more traffic to the websites. It's it has an alternative motive. You want to drive traffic to the sites. You want to drive people reading your blogs and so on, and then maybe they register for a race. But it's also I also wanted a goal that I wanted to do it every week. I haven't done it this week because I was busy running 100K, but I have an idea, and that's going to hopefully come out of my head here before the end of the week. But I set a goal for me, and I wrote every Saturday or Sunday morning. It's usually Sunday morning when everybody's asleep and my wife's asleep, and I can just go down, my head's clear, and write some stuff. So.
It's great stuff. I was going to say you should have a Substack. You don't need a Substack. You've got your blog, so that is your Substack. It's out there. People can read it. I'll have a link to it. It's good stuff. It's fun. Sometimes it's about, specific, notes about a race or an event that you've done. And sometimes it's just you talking about your training or running philosophies or life philosophies. And
I ask a lot of questions about myself, and maybe there's not a lot of answers in there, but hopefully they spur somebody else to think about things a little bit differently. Yeah. And, I was thinking about the one the other day about why I run, and I don't have that answer yet, and probably a lot of runners don't, but we need it. If we didn't have it, I don't know. We'd all be 300 plus pounds and trying to balance a beer in our bellies. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know.
We'd be eating bacon while we're recording podcasts and crazy things like that, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't even know it's a fitness thing. It's more therapy for me, I think, than anything. It just helps me quiet my brain. And we've all found that spot on that long run or even a 5-mile run where our brain just calms down, and we're not thinking about anything important. We're solving all the world's problems. They're all solved when we get back. And, so there's that joy.
That's exactly how it is. All right, I'm going to wind this down a little bit with a few questions here. Race directing wise, is there somebody that you look up to that you try to emulate with your races, or is it just kind of just is what it is?
Hands down, it's John Storkamp and Rocksteady Running. He's been gracious enough to he's become a good friend. He's become obviously anything I need, any help, and early on. He's always been there for me. He was out there the other day, fans stopped by. It wasn't for me, but I asked him, come on, swing by. He helps, and he does that to all the other race directors too. He's always helping out, donating equipment, donating things. It's not a competition for him. It's not a business. It's not like I'm going to shut all you small races down. He's giving and giving. I need signs, I need X, Y, Z. What do you need? What do you need? So to be at that level, to put on the great events that he does, and Sherry, I don't get Sherry's probably 80% of that mix, but they're the races that they put on, the high quality and the numbers that they do. What else? What else you want? And to be a great guy on top of it, I definitely emulate those guys.
Yeah, awesome. I kind of thought that, but I wanted to ask. Dream race is Superior your dream race? Is it UTMB? Is it Tour de France? You got a race out there, Chris, where money's no object. You just assume your wife is going to say, I bless you in this race. I give you all the permission. You're fully trained. Is there a dream race, or is it Superior?
The other reason I'm running Superior is I've always wanted to qualify for Western. If you finish Superior, you qualify for Western. That's it. And I'm not going to get in because like 1% of 1% get into that thing. But to be able to send my name in, and then sit there on December and go, hopefully call my name. That would be a dream. I never cared about Boston. I never cared about any of that stuff. I've never been that fast. Don't want to be that fast. But to get into Western, and then if I got in, like, let's go. I couldn't hold back. I'd be giddy to do that. But 400 people get into that thing. So that's the dream. But I'm not gonna put any bets on it that it would happen.
It's my dream race. I'll never run a race that'll qualify me for it. And if I got in, I wouldn't make it halfway through before I got cut off. But it's absolutely my dream race. I love it. Did I tell you? I don't know if I talked to you when we were running out there. I'm going this year to Western States. A friend of mine is in the race.
Wow.
I'm crewing him. So me and his kids and his friends, we're crewing him. And then, Chris, get this. I get to pace him the last 6 miles to the finish.
Take him around the track, huh? Or get him to the, I guess. Yeah.
Last year he ran it. He came in 2 minutes after the cutoff.
Ooh.
So they gave him this new award, this golden hour ticket, where he gets to come back.
Oh.
So he's coming back, and
nice.
Dude is trained up. I've been watching his runs, and he's he's going to rip it. He's going to come well under 30 hours. My only fear is that when he gets to me, he's still got juice in the legs. I'm hoping, like you said, like he's worn out by the time he gets to mile 94, because I can't do 7-minute miles. We all know that.
94 to 100, and then he's...
Come on, be slow. We can walk this in. So I'm tickled. I'm just really thrilled to even see the course. I might do a little jogging on it the day before or something, but yeah, I'll never get in it. But that would be my dream race too. Do you have a hobby or something else you like to do that is not running?
That's funny. Do I? Don't really.
Maybe you don't. I don't know.
I don't. I mean, I don't. I think it's mostly running. I definitely enjoy an occasional beer, but I don't. It's a hobby of mine.
It can be a hobby. Sure.
But I think running is that hobby, that time filler for me. It's the thing that people like, oh God, is he going to talk about running again? Kind of thing. You get people at work like, don't talk to him because he'll talk about running, or that kind of thing. My buddies are very good about that. They just say, Chris, we're good. They don't run a lot. They don't want to talk. My close buddies from college still they don't want to talk about running, but. I think running is that hobby, and I'm noodling around my head going, well, is there anything else? I don't.
You mentioned technology. I mean, you like technical stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And you mentioned you listen to podcasts. What's a podcast you listen to that's like a technology-based podcast that you like?
It's Quantum. It's the one I listened to today. Quantum. And I don't know much about quantum computing, but it's fascinating me that those technologies. I listen to a lot of things about AI. I use AI in my daily job all the time. There's a lot of negatives to it. I think a lot of people will spin on those, but there's also the potential. It blows my mind, and the stuff that I can do, that I can make faster, that fascinate me. I consider technology is probably my other hobby, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. All right. The way I end these, Chris, is I ask people to give me their 5 favorite pieces of gear that you like when you're out for a run or a trail run.
Right.
So you got to give me 5 things you like to have. It could be a certain shoe. It could be your best dog, your headphones. It could be
favorites.
Anything.
My favorite, like my dog is my buddy that I run with every morning, and she's getting up there. She's 11 years old, but she's still pulling me down the road every day. Her name's Naya.
What's your dog's name, Chris?
Naya. She's a Vizsla.
Okay.
Got a lot of spunk in her. And then my buddy Paul, we meet up every morning. We're lucky enough we get up and we're up at 4. We're up and running around, and Naya's right there with me and stuff.
Awesome.
So gear number 1 is my dog, I guess, and she's too old to be out on the trails, because when I'm out on the trails, it's doing 10 plus or more. I find myself shoe-wise, I usually stick with Solomon on the trails and Hoka's on the road. So that's that's just out of habit, and it's the next shoe up, and buy it and move on. If it works, it works. Yeah,
absolutely.
So 5, that's 2.
Yeah.
The other, and this is going to sound weird, I like the cheap Target Hanes socks. I think people
really.
I have the Ingenia, I have the toe socks, I have all these other, but they just work the best.
Really, the Hanes Target Hanes socks.
Just cotton,
oh my gosh,
ones, but they just keep my toes happy, and so
what are we paying $35 for a damn pair of socks for then? Yeah, that's great.
I don't know why I thought of that, but that's like
that's good.
I grabbed those.
That's 3. You got a couple more things like to have? Nutrition, hats, shirts.
Give me a second.
Sunglasses.
Think of something.
Watch.
I have a Sunto watch. It's an older one. I want to trade up. I think it'll last a 6-hour marathon, but it won't. Anything above that, it peters out. So maybe but I don't want to spend $800 on a Phoenix.
Oh God, no.
That's the next level up. Kind of cheap.
How about a Koros? I'm liking my Koros. Sure. I mean, it's not cheap either, but I don't have the super expensive one. But it's got like a 2-day battery. I mean, I could have it on GPS. Like at Fans, I had it on GPS the whole time. Whatever it was, I went 23 hours, 22 hours. Mm-hmm. It only used like 20% of the battery.
Maybe we should look into that. Yeah. The way I look at it, if I'm running 100, I don't. What am I using it for? I pace myself probably the first 20-ish, and the rest I just kind of hang on. What am I worried about pace at that point? So logically, do I need it? So So and number 5 would be always bring something to wipe with. Always know where the bathrooms are. How about that's better? Maybe that's more.
So know where the bathrooms are. Favorite thing to have on a run is knowledge of where the bathrooms. Map of the outhouses. Yes. That'll work. That'll do.
The running knowledge of what's under construction and what's not, and where you can go. So it sounds goofy, but I think all runners can relate to that and go, I should listen to some of those. I'll leave on that note.
I love it. Chris, thank you for joining me. This is your first podcast. I don't know, it might be a long list of other podcasters reaching out now after this. I've got my audience of 65, 67 people, and
just going to keep going.
Just going to keep going, growing from there. All right,
thanks for joining. I'll put a link out on my socials and we'll get you out there.
Absolutely, and I'm going to have links on mine to yours. So I just know. I don't know if I'll ever be as big as St Croix Running Company, but, we're growing. Slow and sure. We're growing. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Joe.
Chris Swenke, you gotta know where the bathrooms are. I just love that. And, hey, practical thinking like that is what helps make you such a great race director. Thank you for joining me. What a treat to get to know you a little better and find out the details on your day at Fans, how the Superior 100 training is going. And hey, you heard Chris, if you're interested in taking over some or all of those St. Croix Running Company events, well, you might want to give them a go. I'll have links to the St. Croix Running Company and some of the other events and things we talked about. And please, if you like the show, please give it some love with a rating, a review, a follow, or a comment. Spotify, Apple, YouTube, many of the other apps, they all have ways to give feedback, and it all helps to grow and promote the show. Well, that's it for this one. Until next time, cheers and take care of yourselves. Keep running, keep walking, keep moving forward. You might not get to 100 miles or 80 miles, but whatever you get to, you've made it. You will have crossed your finish line.